Today on the Diz List, we count down our top 5 dark rides at Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything at Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and today, this month, we're doing something special. We're doing a themed month.
We are.
Today, specifically, is going to be top 5 dark rides, but for the whole month, we're going to be doing Rides Month.
You know, one thing that we've talked about is how much everything changes at Disney. One thing that I feel changes for me over the years has been my opinion. So if you go back...
That's a good thing. So it's not always the same episodes. Sorry, that was funny.
No, because seriously, like things change.
Yeah.
Speaking of change...
Yeah. Your voice has changed a little bit?
Yeah. Holy cow. This week was rough.
Well, you're doing a whole lot more talking than me. Nick, if you're new to the show, Nick and I are both teachers. We both teach high school. I teach a little middle school too, but we're both teachers, and this is our week starting back up. Not only are we exhausted because we are we're not used to getting up and talking and moving around all that much, but Nick also is a varsity girls soccer coach.
Dude,
so there's a lot of talking and yelling and...
I mean, so 2 of the nights this week, I was at school at 7 a.m. and then left around 9.
Jeez.
And then the other days, I'm teaching and then do practice until 5:30.
Yeah.
I forget how much energy teaching takes out of you. Every year, it's like, oh, I'm ready to go. And then after the first week, I'm like, holy cow.
Did you have a lot of coffee this week?
I have been trying to cut back because I've been drinking too much coffee. Mm-hmm. So I had like 2 cups a day, which is, I know more than probably I should have, but that's what I drink.
I do 1 in the morning, and the way my schedule is, it's similar to, it's same as last year. So I do 6 in a row every other day.
I thought you were going to say 6 cups.
No. I'm getting to the coffee part. I have 6 classes in a row. So I have 3, and then I have that short little lunch period.
Yeah.
And then 3 more. Mm-hmm. So during that lunch period, I try to have a cup of coffee because my afternoon, I have 2 middle school classes, which are very energetic, especially at the end of the day. So I need to meet that energy level. So 2 cups for me.
Well, on some of the days, your lunch is basically breakfast anyway.
Yes, we have a very early one. So
10:18.
I know. That's an early one.
People always wonder why teachers eat so fast and eat on weird schedules.
Yeah, you said that once is a good point because
we have 25, 28 minutes, something like that to eat.
Yeah, we wolf down our food.
Yeah. Like I remember growing up thinking that my friend whose parent was a teacher was so weird. Like we'd go to their house and they're eating at 5 o'clock.
I still do.
And I'm like, that's so weird. Why are you eating at 5? Then I became a teacher and realized why. Because you eat at 11 a.m. or for you 10:15.
Yeah. I don't have a choice.
Crazy.
I can't eat when the kids are there. That's too hard.
You don't want to eat in an art room anyway.
No. So. Plus I'm talking the whole time and actually teaching.
And it's really getting weird for me. Now I know how you kind of felt because my son is a year younger than the kids who are teaching, who I am teaching.
Yeah.
And so there's this crazy friend crossover student thing.
Oh yeah. I'll end with this. I'm sure we'll talk about this again too. So for the first time, this matched up perfectly.
Yeah.
Nick is teaching my son and I am teaching Nick's son same year.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is.
But it's also not really weird. Notice I didn't say it's weird. It's cool.
No.
Because I know your son very well and you know my son very well. So
I don't think that's definitely not weird.
It's easy.
Yeah. What happened in the world of Disney this week?
Well, I started the Disney Adults book.
Yes.
By A.J. Wolf. So this book, I highly, highly recommend it. I'll just start by saying that.
We are not in this book.
No, I wish. I wish. We'd love to. If anybody knows A.J. Wolf, we'd love to have her on the show. And even once you hear what I have to say, I think it would be even cooler. Anyway, A.J. Wolf is one of the people that runs the Disney food blog.
I believe she started it. She was the founder.
She is.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. I watch their videos and I follow their website. Good stuff. But I'm listening to the book. I was listening to it this morning because I like hearing her voice, because when you watch Disney Food Blog on YouTube, you're so used to hearing her voice. And at one point, she's talking and making comparisons to what a Disney adult is being like. And she goes, okay, everyone, I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan. And she goes into this whole thing about the Buffalo Bills. And then she goes into how she goes to Wegmans whenever it's game day and walks around Wegmans. And there's this whole long part that's all about
she's a Buffalo. She's a Buffalo.
She
girl.
is.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how her mother had season tickets during the Super Bowl years. And I'm like, this is like the perfect comparison, because that's my youth growing up being a Bills fan. It probably wasn't as big for you growing up in the Adirondacks.
It was big.
Bills were big there too.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, there was a segment of the population up there who were anti-Jets, Giants solely because of they're not really from New York.
Yeah, they play in New Jersey.
So like, a lot of my friends were Bills fans. I was a Bills fan. I was a pseudo Bills fan. I was more of a Lions fan because I loved, obviously Barry Sanders, but
yeah, it's a good team.
Thurman Thomas was
he's awesome.
Was somebody who all my friends like idolized. So Bills were pretty big, especially in the '90s when it was the Four Falls.
It's an early chapter in the book, and it's just a really cool cross section of two of the things that I just absolutely love and live for.
I'll bet you AJ Wolf is going to get the Epcot jersey too.
Yes, we talked about that last week. If you don't know what we're talking about, take a listen to the news portion of last week's episode.
Hey, speaking of the news portion of last week's episode.
I was just going to get to that. Good, perfect.
So last week we signed off. We should do this more often. We should have reaction shows about stuff that's kind of still going on.
Yeah.
Sign off, and then get home and read the news.
And then come back and record again.
Yeah. So what happened, Rob?
Well, as soon as we signed off, I don't know, I was making lunch or something, and I looked at my phone, and they made another announcement after everything we thought was over. And they announced that the castle was going back to the original colors of Cinderella Castle.
They did say they were going to do a better job at making it texturized. So look.
Like that stucco kind of.
It worries me, and here's why it worries me.
Sure.
Disney does nothing that is fast and quick.
Yeah, you're right.
And
I don't want to have scaffolding over the castle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that bothers me. But hopefully they don't.
Well, it'll be cool. I mean, my wife and I were talking about it last time we were there. We just stopped and looked at the castle and, admired the rose gold. And it's cool. I like
I don't
the color
dislike
it is now.
I don't dislike it.
It's cool. And
I liked it before, but like.
Well, it's not drastic enough of a change where it's a huge deal, I think. Like if they were to, like when they made the castle into the birthday cake.
Oh my God.
That's as drastic as you can get.
That was so stupid.
Other than maybe the toilet paper and the stitch thing. But this isn't a huge transformation. It's good. It's more iconic. I don't think people are going to be upset about it. I think they'll be like, oh, good. But to me, I thought that was kind of pretty big news. So.
Yeah, I think it is too. So
we'll take a break here and then we'll come back and we'll talk about rides. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. It never gets old. I could listen to my favorite rides podcast every single week. So
yeah. So we're going to have the halftime, which is brought to you by our patrons. You can go to patreon.com/DizListPod, where you can get early access to new episodes, bonus content every week. And after 3 months, we'll send you a mug to hold your coffee in the morning, your tea, the 6 cups of coffee I thought Rob was drinking.
Who knows?
Yeah. But if you guys head over there, also make sure that you let me know what your Instagram handle is, because we'll also add you to our close friends list. But we'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our favorite dark rides in Disney. We were talking a little bit, because we didn't compare our list, but we did talk a little bit beforehand about how
it's a little bit open.
Dark rides are like,
it
was dark inside? And it's a ride.
I mean
3 of mine are very.
Is Rock and Roller Coaster a dark ride?
No,
sure,
no.
But I count it as a coaster. I don't really count it as a dark ride.
Yeah.
There were a few that I really like, and I mean, this can lead into my first one, but I don't know if I consider them dark rides. They are, but let me rephrase that. Do I not consider it a dark ride? No. So if you say one of these rides that I'm about to refer to, I'm not going to argue and be like, that doesn't count, because we never really set like specifics. Like that's kind of what I like about this, because it's really open-ended.
This is how we're going. I mean, this is going back to the old school way we used to do things.
So my number 5 is, a lot of it, honestly, for me is nostalgia, and it has a lot of things that are wrong with it, and that is Spaceship Earth. I really like Spaceship Earth. I just really love. And do I think it's the best? No, it's like my favorite. It's like one of my favorite rides. I will do it multiple times. It's relaxing. But the biggest problem is the very start and the very end, where you really can't actually utilize where, okay, you are living in underwater, or where they take your picture, essentially. They take your picture, and then when you come back down, they turn you into like this animatic cartoon. And I don't know if it's worked properly for me in like 5 years. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever had my picture actually come out properly.
I've tried every combo, because like my wife said, well, maybe it's because you're not wearing your hat, and I'm bald, so maybe that was it. So no, I put my hat on, that didn't work.
Sometimes it leaves my face, cuts out my beard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it only has my beard and cuts out my face. It's so random.
I wish it was just a circle. And then think of it. If you just put that circle over top of the body, it would still work.
Or just don't do it.
I don't know.
Don't do it.
I really like the ride for a lot of reasons. I'm sure that it's going to be overhauled pretty soon.
It's closed right now.
Yeah.
It's closed right now for refurbishment.
Well, I think at some point they're going to kind of redo
What if
some
it
of
just
those
stays
scenes.
closed for a little while?
It could. And then
What if they
surprise.
just sneak it in and it's like, oh, by the way,
That would be great.
look what we did while we were gone.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Spaceship Earth's my 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I love Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a history guy. I'm a buff. Like I'll sit down and watch like documentaries all day. My son does the same thing. My gripe with it is less about the working animation thing at the end. My bigger issue is, much like Carousel of Progress, it stops at a time that is now obsolete.
Yes.
So like when we're talking about communication, it's stopping at
Like
Apple
1980.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Truly, I couldn't say off the
it's
top
in
of
the
my
80s,
head.
yeah.
Is it early 80s or late 70s
I think it's 80s.
with the invention of the personal computer?
Yeah, and then, like that's where it stops.
Yeah.
Which we've obviously progressed much further.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they could do that without. I don't know how they could tell all the stories they tell, and then still progress properly, without extending the ride further into the geodesic dome.
Yeah.
But like, man, I wish they would. You know, I guess you could cut something out.
You could. I mean, there's a lot in the middle there when they go kind of by the cinema and that whole Jesse Owens scene. I mean, I realize the TV part is important, but I think there's some fluff kind of in that area too. Like a lot of it's really important, you know, the Egyptian and the Renaissance and, you know, recorded history and
the
the
burning
fire.
libraries,
Like that's all really important stuff in the history of it. I think at the end they could probably newspaper. That's very important too.
Yeah. What I like about it is all the animatronics. Mm-hmm. I don't know that there's a ride that has that many working animatronics of that size.
Yeah.
Because you could go, well, yeah, Small World, but like they all are moving. They are all. I mean,
and the other thing too is if you contrast it to some of the other rides, and some of them I'm going to talk about a little bit later, is that it's almost like a spotlight on each one. It's not like there's a bunch.
Right.
So we'll say, maybe I'll talk about this, maybe I won't, but Pirates of the Caribbean, there's a bunch of them. Like where do we look? There's so many. So if one kind of goes down or one's not working properly, you don't notice it as much. If you're going by the Pharaoh and the Pharaoh's not working right, you're going to know.
yeah. Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think this ride is quintessential classic Disney Epcot.
Could it be updated? Sure. And I think if they do an update, I don't want to have, let's say they updated the end, okay? The last, 3-4 scenes, whatever. I wouldn't want super fluid animatronics moving around like some of the newer modern, like let's say Tiana, right?
Yeah.
I think it would stand out too much. I think they could add newer animatronics as long as they weren't like drastically different. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. So yeah, I'm with you. Spaceship Earth.
Okay.
What do you got for 4?
Number 4 is kind of a fun one. It could end up being a couple different things for me. I don't think this ride would have had a drop if it hadn't just been like basically an overlay, and that's Frozen. I don't know if they ever would have done anything like that. I think if they were to just do a Frozen ride from scratch, it would just be like a typical boat ride, maybe not even a boat ride. It could be something entirely different, but I think putting it over top of Maelstrom and Maelstrom being what it was, where you kind of go backwards, like it can't be any more perfect, because when you get up to Elsa and she's singing Let It Go and her arms go out, then you go backwards, like that's great. It just kind of worked out perfectly because the Imagineers, they didn't design it that way. It was already that way. It was one of those things where it was a perfect coincidence, you know?
It is a perfect coincidence. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because I'm weird. Have you ever been up there and when she's saying Let It Go and you're like, I'm in a boat and her whole superpower is freezing stuff.
Why is this not frozen?
Why is the water fluid? Sorry.
Because it's moving.
So?
When water's moving, it's harder to freeze.
I'll bring you to the Adirondacks.
Well, it's harder to freeze. It will still freeze, but...
I'm sure it is, but she shoots freezing stuff out of her palms like Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true too. No. It depends.
These are the weird things that go through my head sometimes when I'm on that ride. It's like...
Why is the water not...
Yeah.
Why are we still moving?
Let's talk about the real issue with theming here. Continuity with theming.
My number 4 is Frozen. What do you have?
My number 4 is one that may or may not be on your list, and this is a debate as to whether or not this would be a dark ride. Mm-hmm. I think it's a dark ride.
Might be one of the ones I thought of earlier.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
That was one of them. That one in Ratatouille, I was thinking about whether or not they count.
I think...
But sure, I'm not going to say no.
I think Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a great dark ride. Mm-hmm. People might argue it's not a dark ride, it's a trackless ride. Yeah, it's a trackless dark ride.
Yeah, that's why it fits, and I'm not going to argue it isn't.
And there are parts that aren't dark, like the dance scene, but the rest of it is relies all on that classic black light.
Yeah.
And, so I personally, I love this ride in general. Is it my favorite? No. And the reason it's not my favorite of the newer ride editions is probably just because of the queue. If this had a better queue, to me, it jumps way up on my list.
Yeah.
But you don't really get into the theme until you stand in front of that screen and the screen blows up, which is amazing. But
it's another overlay, but here's the difference with Frozen. Frozen, they went right over top of Maelstrom. This, they went right over top of the Great Movie Ride. The difference is when they did Frozen again, they redid the entire queue and made it really exciting and fun, where you can go in. I can't remember the character's name. Where they go in and he's squeegeeing off the window.
Oh, yeah.
You know what character I'm talking about?
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, folks. I'm sure people at home it's so-and-so. We're a little burnt after this week.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, for me, is worthy of getting a top spot in my top 5 dark rides. So that's my number 4.
I would not argue that at all. I think it's a great ride, too. And I didn't put it on the list. And I think what's actually happening is that a new category of ride is kind of emerging, and it's one of the ones that can have multiple tags. So this one can have the tag of, kids ride, tag of dark ride, and now the new category is going to be trackless rides, which I think we're going to see a whole lot more of in the near future.
Yeah, and I think as the technology gets better where they're not shutting down as much or breaking down as much, I think you're going to see a lot more of them. So
we have 3. If we do a quick count, I mean, it's Rise of the Resistance, Ratatouille, and this one.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I think that's it right now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'll change at some point.
I want to go out on a limb and say that that's what the new Cars ride is going to be.
Well, I was just going to say that. The
family-friendly one.
Luigi's trackless ride that's in California Adventure was so much fun.
Yeah, I could see that being there.
It was a lot of fun.
So what do you got on 3?
Number 3 is one that you do not like. I love it. My wife loves it, and that is Navi River Journey. We like it for a lot of reasons. My family likes to sing along and make up their own lyrics for it.
Something about lasagna?
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Or nacho pizza, I think they sing. When it's working great, and the animatronic is working right, it is mesmerizing in that final room. But I had mentioned on my last trip, there were a couple things that weren't working properly. Still a great dark ride. It's definitely earns that number 3 spot. And it's, rides for me are not always thrill. This particular ride for me is a chill. It's the opposite.
Yeah, but it's criminally short.
Yeah, agree. Unless the boats are backed way up and then you're just kind of sitting there and relaxing.
Yeah.
Like when I get on that ride and it starts, I just look around and I like just take a deep breath and I'm just like, this is awesome. And I just take in the colors and the sounds and the music because I'm affected so much by sound and color that it puts me in a really, really great place. And I know this wouldn't even be on a lot of people's lists, and I doubt it's even on yours at all, but it does something for me and my family members. We really, really love it. So probably not on your list.
No,
right?
it's not on my list.
And I get it.
And I get that it's beautiful, and I admit that it's beautiful. I think any single time that when you are using, or when you're asking people to stay in line for 30 to 40 minutes,
Right.
for a ride, and then the ride's
Short, and there's
really
not
short.
It's more of an experience.
you better punch me in the face like Tron does
Yeah. Yes.
after a wait like that. Not like, oh, cool, there's this really good animatronic at the end,
Yes.
and along the way there's like all these tricks of the eye that they're pulling with other weird effects. That's my take on it.
It's a good argument. It's a good argument. And I know I'm probably in the minority where it really has a huge effect on me, just kind of the way I am as a person. So
Now we're getting, for me, to one that I know is on your list. And you don't need to reveal where it is on your list.
Well,
but my number...
Longtime listeners, without even saying, longtime listeners know what you're about to say and know what it...
Yeah.
Continue.
So number 3 for me is one that I think is just phenomenal. It's not my number 1, but it is an amazing ride.
Yeah.
And it creeps up every single time I ride it.
Yeah.
And that is Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
I'm not like into the whole creepy crawly, like, or like the ghost stuff, or like, I'm not into that usually, but the kitschiness of this ride, the classic way that it does things is amazing. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I want to talk about, what I want to talk about instead is my brother is currently, actually he's probably back now, but
in California,
he was in California this week for a Run Disney event. And he rode, Jack and Sat, like the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay one.
Hold on, is this your brother from Buffalo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they did it twice. He said they rope dropped it pretty much.
Yep.
And then they did it again.
Right.
And he loved it. He said it was amazing.
Cool.
Now,
I would enjoy doing that.
I would not want it. I would not.
You're going to say what I was just going to say,
I would not want that to be my only experience with it.
Correct.
I would be okay with it if I'm going to visit Disneyland. I would like to visit Disneyland and see that version of it because we don't get it. I would not want to visit Disneyland for my first and only time and get it one of the 6 months that they have this up.
Yeah. And it's the opposite reason that unofficially Disney World has sort of said from time to time, and I don't remember where this was leaked, so I'm not going to quote specifically where this came from, but Disney World is a park that you would go to like a once-in-a-lifetime park, and you want to go and experience it.
Disneyland is not that.
Right. That's why we don't see a lot of overlays.
Disneyland does,
and that's why Magic Kingdom does these parties, because the parties don't necessarily affect the way it's going to be all day. So, hey, go here until 6 o'clock, and then from 6 o'clock on, we're going to have this really cool like Halloween event, and that's great. So I am going to talk about Haunted Mansion a little bit later on, but I want to comment quickly on what your brother did. And when I was in Disneyland, I personally prefer the one in Disney World, but the cool thing about it, and I mean, it's like, essentially it's just you are taking your favorite album and you're listening to it on shuffle because it's in a different order. Yeah. Things are slightly different, but it's just as awesome and just as fantastic. Yeah. Now, the benefit was Hatbox Ghost, because Hatbox was only on the West Coast. Once they added a Hatbox Ghost on the East Coast, pretty much even them out for the most part. Yeah. So I just wanted to comment on that, and you'll be hearing me talk about that. And I'm not going to say a ton, but I do have one thing I wanted to focus on that. My number 2 is one that I know you love, and I'm sure it'll show up in one of these next two numbers for you. And I love it. And it's very close to my number one. And my number two is Pirates.
Okay.
And I think people can probably guess what my number one is, but Pirates is so good. It is really good. And that one, to be fair, and I don't want to get too much on a West Coast talk, Pirates of the Caribbean is a lot better on the West Coast too, because there's so much more and there's more drops, but it's such a good ride for so many reasons.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume this is going to be up next. Okay.
It might be.
All right. Maybe you'll hear about this. Maybe you won't. And I mentioned this earlier too, is all of these animatronics are so much fun. The smell is great.
Oh, the smell is.
And I can't remember what I was watching recently, but they were talking about I think it was the Disney Dish. They were talking about this a little bit. They're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean and how easy it was to incorporate the characters from the movie and to put Captain Jack without really disturbing much of the ride.
Right.
And then including Barbossa, I think he is. He's they put Barbossa up on the giant ship in that room. And I do want to say this, and I'm going to get back to this with my number one, but two of the reasons why Pirates and Haunted Mansion are so awesome is the giant reveal. Okay, this one is a bigger reveal. When you get down into that room where it opens up and you see a full-size pirate ship.
It's insane.
For the first time, if you're seeing this, you're like, where are we? Because you're
when you walk in that building, there's okay. How is this going to work?
You have no idea that you're about to see a full-size pirate ship.
Yeah.
Blows your mind. Yeah. And in a minute, I'm going to talk about kind of a similar thing with Haunted Mansion as well. But that's one of the things that it does so well. And I wish, we've talked about this before, I wish they had an Aladdin ride, and I wish they had an Aladdin ride that would open up into the treasure room.
Cave of Wonder, is that what it is?
Oh my God, how amazing would that be? I mean, come on, Disney.
We've talked about
Come
it. We've
on.
said that it doesn't even have to be a dark ride. What if it's a roller coaster and you go in there?
Yeah.
It's a whole other episode.
Sure. Oh,
You can find that episode on patreon.com/DizzlesPod. Sorry. Shameless plug.
My number two is Pirates. I'm curious what your two is because I think I figured out what your number one is now.
Number two is not one that you would put on your list because, much like my number four, I don't think you qualify it as a dark ride, and that is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Okay, I thought of that too. And I mean, that ride left a bad taste in my mouth, not because it's a bad ride, but just I had a really bad experience the last time I went.
It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not
I
their
realize
fault.
that, and that's what I'm trying to say here. I love the ride. I need to go back again and ride it to erase that and purge that.
Ride it
from
with
my
a sober
memory.
person,
God.
not a drunk guy yelling at cast members because the ride broke down.
I found a great picture the other day of you and I riding it with the biggest smiles on our face with the glasses on.
Oh man,
I love that picture.
Look, remember I said Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway would be higher on my list if they had a better queue.
This has a way better queue,
This queue is amazing.
except for the outside part.
Yeah.
50% of the queue is awesome.
Yes. When you get inside that building and you start getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller,
It's great.
and then all of a sudden you're the size of a rat. You're in that one spot where they have the switchbacks, and like Gusteau is talking.
Yes. I love
Dude,
it.
and then like the little hidden things like in the windows, seeing things show up.
I love it.
I'm sorry, this ride's amazing. It is a great dark ride. Some people would argue it's not a dark ride. I get why, right? Because it's 3D, it's projections, they're not animatronics.
No, I think it'll count.
But I personally think this ride is amazing. It's why it's my number two.
Mm-hmm.
It is my second favorite ride in that park. I mean, you're not going to touch Guardians of the Galaxy, but like,
No. Well, it's a dark ride too.
yeah. I mean, it is dark in there.
Yeah.
I love it, and it's one that if I'm staying in an Epcot area resort, I'm rope dropping that.
Yeah.
100%. I'm going in through that international gateway, going over to France, rope drop that.
Yeah, it's a good ride to start
Even
and
though
the day
Air
with.
Scouts Rob said that it might be worthwhile to go all the way over to Cosmic Rewind. A little plug for Ear Scouts because you can go watch that show. He did a little test to see.
Oh, that was a good one. Oh, is that the one where him and Eric did the race? Oh, no,
Yeah.
that was a different episode. That was the rope drop.
No, they did it. They did. Yeah, that's the one. He did a race the normal way.
Oh.
And then he was like, he wanted to try to go to test or to go over there in the morning and see if that was better.
I was mixed up. I was referring to another really good one. Again, we're just trying to plug our friends at Ear Scouts, who we are affiliated with. A lot of times we're like, well, we don't know. So, yes, they're our good friends.
Yeah.
So there was another really good episode. I'm sure you've seen this one where Rob and Eric do 2 different ways for rope drop. Rob goes to Guardians and then Test Track, and then Eric goes to Test Track and then Guardians, and they see.
Right, but then there. That's part of the same series.
And the other series was they're starting at different parts of the park and see which is best.
So, either way, Remy is where I would rope drop.
Great.
If I'm going through the International Gateway because I love it, I want to, and then maybe I can get to ride it twice.
So this is interesting because I know now for a fact that we're flip-flopping our 3 to our number 1s.
Correct.
So my 3 is your 1 and your 1 is my 3.
Correct.
Okay. So my number 1 is Haunted Mansion.
No, your 2.
My 2?
Your
2 was Pirates, right. But they matched up because, anyway. Haunted Mansion has always been my favorite dark ride.
I get it.
And the one thing that I alluded to when I was talking about Pirates is there's so many things that Disney does so well to just blow your mind. And when you're going through Haunted Mansion, you feel claustrophobic and you're in this little hallway and you're going backwards and it's making you nervous. But then all of a sudden you open up to the giant ballroom and you're like, what is this? And you're on the second level and you're looking down and you're seeing these dancers and the gunslingers, and they do that effect where actually all the animatronics are under you. And I forgot the name of the effect.
Pepper's Ghost.
Pepper's Ghost, thank you. And at that moment, you're like, holy cow, this is amazing. And then you kind of shrink down a little bit and you're going through the attic. And then it opens up even bigger. And you're in this giant, like, that's the fun part. Where Grinning Ghost comes on and everyone's singing along. And I'm always singing. I don't know if you sing at that part, but I do. I'm always having a blast.
I kind of bounce.
It's great.
I don't sing, but
and when I get to that part, every time I ride the ride, I try to see something different. I was kind of the same way when I rode Remy the last time, too. But like for the last time I was on there, I was like, I've never seen that thing before. Like the lighting, I think the warm lights represent the world of the living. And I think all of like the blue represents what the ghosts are. So look for that next time too. That's another fun thing to look for. They've updated the lighting in there. The lighting got really bad and it was really kind of dark and drab.
Last time I was in there, it was good.
They updated it in Disneyland first because it was so bright there. And then my next time visiting it in Orlando, it was bright and it looked fantastic. Yeah. I love it. Do I think it's the best ride in Disney? No, it's my favorite ride. And there's a difference there. Favorite and best are definitely 2 different things that I will list. Favorite, that's based on, you know, if they were to put a roller coaster in there, would it be my favorite? Yeah, maybe, possibly. You know, if you were to put the entire Guardians of the Galaxy track ride and put it in there and play Grinning Ghost, would it be my favorite? I don't know. I just love it. Favorite ride versus best ride. This one is my favorite. Doesn't matter if it's a dark ride or anything else.
You don't need to justify it to me. That's for sure. For me, it's clearly Pirates. I don't think that that's a shock to anybody. I love that ride. That ride in particular has grown on me even more.
Yep.
Like I said, the older I get, the more trips I take, the more I respect that classic Disney touch.
Yep.
And this is one of them. I can respect the changes they've made over the years, the reversing the track from the men chasing the women to the women chasing the men with the brooms.
It's never bothered me when they make changes.
Yeah, the whole thing from the beginning to the end is remarkable. I can't wait to eventually enjoy this in Disneyland.
It's great.
I also can't wait to hopefully enjoy it overseas. Mm-hmm. It is, for me, smells play a big role in my enjoyment of a ride.
Me too.
And I think even if I were to drop Remy down, Haunted Mansion can't surpass this solely because it doesn't have that olfactory sense memory.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Where when you go into that big room, you talked about the big reveal, and you smell that water, and you smell the cannon, and you smell the burning throughout that ride, it just transports you, right?
It does.
It's weird, right? I could light a candle because they make the Pirates candles. I could light a candle, which basically just smells like matches, and just smell that the whole time, or wood burning or whatever. I just love that ride, and I gotta be honest with you, while I was excited about the whole Beacon Barrel thing, more reviews I watch on it, I'm not that excited about going to it. I'll do it just for content, but whatever. I just love the fact that this ride, along with Haunted Mansion, were able to like spawn movie franchises.
Yeah.
Right. There's another one down the way that's not a dark ride, but Jungle Cruise did it too.
Are they making any sequels to that?
I don't think so. Maybe.
I always wonder if Jungle Cruise is not long for this world.
It's a lot of real estate.
I don't know.
It's not a good ride. Hot take. Anyway.
No, and it's not. And the whole reason people like to do it and ride it now is because they turned it into a comedy show.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, Pirates is number one. It probably always will be. But it's even a higher one than it used to be for me. Just because I've learned to really love and respect those classics. So yeah, that's it.
Well, and I said this earlier, it's very close to Haunted Mansion for me because there isn't a time I go to the Magic Kingdom that I miss doing either of those two rides. And I think that's an interesting thing for you and our listeners to think about. For a minute.
I won't miss either one of those.
Take a minute, listeners, Nick, and think, what are the handful of rides? Let's say you're there, you're rope dropping, or let's say here, perfect example. You're only at Disney for a day, and you have a park hopper, and you can only be there for a couple hours. What are your absolute? Let's say there's 3 things you have to do. I'm doing those 2 rides. I mean, the third one would depend on what's open and what the line is. But I would do Haunted Mansion, Pirates, and then maybe Thunder Mountain if it was open, and I'd be like, okay, I'm good.
I mean, you name my 3.
I mean, there's been multiple times. The one time that we went together.
Tron's great. Don't get me wrong, but like if I'm gonna pick like 3 rides that I have to ride,
well, and they're all in the same area too.
Well, right, but like 3. Let's take that out of the equation. You have 3 rides. You can ride 3 rides. I'm sorry, I'm gonna ride the classics. And I get you can make an argument that Big Thunder's not a classic, but still,
well, it is.
Yeah, I mean it's not an opening day attraction. Is my point.
That's fine.
Not that Haunted Mansion, and you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is fun, and I'm looking forward to the next 3 weeks because we're gonna do more of these.
Yeah.
Make sure if you're watching this or listening, let us know in the comments what top 5 do you have, or what's your favorite, or why are we wrong? Because we're probably wrong. I'm sure we made some people angry. I'm sure we left some off.
Yeah. Why didn't you put Peter Pan?
Well, Peter Pan's on my honorable mention.
Sure.
Okay. It's a toss-up between that and Spaceship Earth. Here's why I don't put Peter Pan on there. I can walk on to Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, you can.
85 minutes to 2 hours for Peter Pan is bonkers. It's not that good.
I'll tell you, I do Peter Pan.
The queue is better than the ride.
Once every 4 trips. And we go once a year, sometimes twice a year for new listeners. I do it when I can. Like if most of the trips, we don't do it. We do Small World every time.
If I'm doing extended evening hours,
yeah,
and I walk by and it's a 20-minute wait,
I'll do it.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. If I'm doing
a lot of times, it's 90 minutes.
Yeah, if I'm in there at rope drop and let's say the ride I really want to rope drop isn't open, I might do it just because hey, I know this is a good park time saver.
Yeah.
But like I'm okay without riding it. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like Winnie the Pooh might be a better dark ride than Peter Pan. It doesn't hold the nostalgia for me that Peter Pan does.
I would, but yeah, we can discuss that in another episode. But I think Peter Pan would have the edge by a little bit.
So either way, this was fun. I know that you love doing these things.
I do,
and I know that our listeners enjoy interacting with us about these. So please let us know.
Yeah, and like Nick said, post your top 5 too.
Yep, and next few weeks we're going to be doing it. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.